Hello, everybody. This is Jedediah, and welcome to Jedediah's Corner. It's February 14th, and I'm coming to you from the East Coast of the United States. Today is day number 131 of the brutal assault on Gaza that has killed over 30,000 at this point, innocent civilians, crushing them under rubble. We've gone over this ad nauseum. Palestine is like this on the map, right? And they kept telling people, move further, move further, move further down, you'll be safe, move further down. Not to mention that they bombed them every step of the way and destroyed all of their hospitals, their schools, their universities, and then they pushed them into Rafah, a little tiny town right on the border with Egypt. They already had nowhere to go, and now they're pushed up, removed from their homes, pushed into a much more crowded area. There's about 1.4, 1.5 million civilians in an area that used to hold about 300,000. It was already crowded. Israel has not relented. They have not stopped their bombing campaign. They have not stopped using dumb bombs and snipers to indiscriminately kill civilians. So out of Rafah, the last hospital in the Gaza Strip was evacuated yesterday while Israeli snipers took out children and mothers and grandfathers and grandparents, callously not caring one bit for human life. How can people do this is the question, and I guess you can view it in one perspective, from the perspective of a blood feud. When you kill members of a group, of course that group is going to seek revenge, and then the group that you revenged is going to seek revenge, and it becomes an endless cycle of revenge. But throughout this process, since 1918, since moving all the illegal immigrants into Palestine, Palestinians have fought back. In the beginning, of course, they fought back with violence. Their land was invaded, and there was the Nakba, where millions were expelled. The problem is the backing of the State of Israel has always had powerful colonial backers with lots of money and lots of weapons. So everyone is pushed into Rafah, and these governments, these politicians, these diplomats are just still buying time to kill more people. It's a disgusting thing to see unfold in front of us, and I'm sure if you're like me, you may feel a bit helpless. All I can really do at this point is lend my voice to this struggle and keep giving people updates. I don't know what else I can do, and I'm looking for other ways to help. And I feel like everyone should be in that place. Everyone should be in the place where they're trying to find a way to add just a little piece of something to this conversation. One thing I would encourage anyone to do, if they have the means to do this, all of these images, all of these videos, all the things that we see and we consume, and they make us hate what Israel is doing and committing this genocide. If you walk around the streets of New York, you just see hostage posters. So obviously Israel doesn't care about their hostages. They already they killed 3 of them in cold blood, 2 from the air, and then they chased the 3rd one down, who was screaming in Hebrew. He was an Israeli hostage, and they executed him, shooting him in the back of the head. On October 8th, they issued the Hannibal Directive, which killed hundreds of innocent Israeli citizens from tank fire, from missiles launched from aircraft. So from the very beginning, there has been a procession of lies. There has been an attempt to use this crisis, to use this conflict as a way to push forward their agenda. And we've seen this tactic used over and over again by the United States and by Western governments to push forward their goals. Any crisis, anything horrible that happens to us, our leaders are not looking at it and thinking, how can we stop this from happening again? How can we help people get through it? They're thinking, how can we benefit from the noise, from the confusion? How can we use this to our advantage? Israel is using the resistance effort on October 7th to trade back for their something like 12 or 13,000 hostages held in Israeli jails. At least 2,000 of them are children held in military detention with no trial and no charge. We have stories stretching back for decades of people being arrested for minor crimes, being held for a decade in prison, and tortured and raped inside of these facilities. And then some of these people come out and they still advocate for peace. The resilience of the Palestinian people is incredible. The patience of the Palestinian people is incredible. The patience of I wouldn't say the entire Arab world, but the people that are supporting the Palestinians in the struggle. You look at Ansar Allah, they didn't kill one person, but they did effectively boycott Israel and turn back ships because Israel is committing a genocide, and that is their duty, not only as human beings, but as a state entity. The United States also signed on to the Genocide Convention, but they are not adhering to it. They're still supplying Israel with weapons. They're still making these ridiculous statements about being upset about the civilian casualties while still supplying the bombs that are killing them. How ridiculous is that? There is some good news. It's a man, I believe his name is David Miller. If I got that wrong, I apologize, but he was a British professor, and he just won a court case. He was sacked for essentially being an anti-Zionist, and he won a court case that said that anti-Zionism is not the same thing as anti-Semitism. And for a long time, the Zionist lobby has been trying to conflate the two terms. Zionism is a settler colonial enterprise. It is a state entity. You want to say Zionists are a protected class, it's like saying Republicans in the United States are a protected class. It's ridiculous. It is an enterprise to colonize land, and it is an ideology that is inherently racist because anyone who is not Jewish is not allowed in. And anyone who is not Jewish who lives in that land, they don't want them there. And we have seen already for decades, but now we see the immense brutality that they're meting out on the Palestinian population. The ICJ says that it's a plausible genocide, and Israel ignores the provisional measures. The United States says don't invade Rafah. Benjamin Netanyahu says, fuck you, I'm going in. I don't care about the civilians. They tell their snipers to take out innocent people. They shoot children right in front of their mothers, and then they prevent them from taking the body so that they can bury it. It is disgusting. It is cruel. It is a nihilistic society, dead set on revenge, dead set on conquest and dominance. This is fascism. This is authoritarianism. This is everything that everyone, all these liberals and even probably conservatives crying about, horrible leaders rising into power and what kind of evil they could wrought on our world. Well, right now, a great evil is being wrought on the world, and where are they? They're twisting themselves into pretzels, trying to justify this because they get money from the Zionist lobby, because they get money from AIPAC, because they get their speeches written for them from AIPAC. These lazy politicians would rather have a lobby group do their work for them so that they don't have to think for themselves, so they can just enjoy the trappings of their status without having to work. And they bought into their lies for a very long time, and it's going to take a long, long time to change that. Thanks for watching. This has been Jedediah's Corner. Have a good night, guys.